Hello and welcome to AJ Storytime channel for kids. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so you receive the notifications of when I am reading live or I downloaded a new video. How are you today? Can you count your fingers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. High five to you. Today's storytime theme is about seeds because now maybe mommy or daddy will be buying some seeds to plant and maybe you will create a nice garden. So today's storytime theme is about seeds. Let's learn about that, right? The first book we are reading is called Double Trouble, Grow Little Seed. Jessie and Joe found a patch of earth in the garden. First, they cleared out the weeds. Then, they dug a hole and planted their seed. Grow, said Joe. It looks thirsty, said Jessie. Let's give it some water, said Joe. Soon the seed began to grow. It grew faster and faster straight up towards the sun. Soon it was taller than either of them and had a big round yellow head. My seed turned into a sunflower, said Joe happily. Let's grow this nest, said Jessie. The end. And that's how you can start growing a seed. I have another amazing book for you. This one is called Life Cycles Sunflower. Now, you saw that what Joe and Jesse grow was a sunflower. So now let's learn about sunflowers. I definitely love sunflowers and I want to plant them because they are so beautiful. They really look like the sun, you see? What is a life cycle? Plants and animals all have a life cycle. They start life as small, they grow bigger, often changing along the way. One day they will die. Before they do, they might produce young. An acorn is a seed. A tiny acorn can grow into a mighty oak tree. Most plants make seeds. A seed grows into a new plant. Then the new plant can make its own seeds. Some flowers follow this life cycle. A seed sprouts. A sunflower seed is black and white. It has a hard outer case. Inside is the baby plant. It needs water and warm weather to sprout. A sunflower seed is about as long as a fingernail. You see? Look, like my fingernail. One day in spring, the seed sprouts. The seed is just below the surface of the soil. It sends out a thin green shoot. The shoot breaks the surface right here. Wow. The world's biggest seed is from a palm tree. It can weigh 40 pounds. Can you believe that the palm tree seeds can weigh 40 pounds? Wow. Growing. The new plant is called a seedling. It has two leaves. The seedling grows quickly. Then the stem grows taller. More leaves branch out of the stem. A sunflower's heart shape. So beautiful. The plant is growing below the ground. 2. Roots grow from the seed. They spread out in all directions and they take in water and food from the soil. They help the plant stand up. Making food. Plants do not eat like animals do. They make their own food. They need sunlight to do this. They need water. They also need a gas called carbon dioxide. And there is carbon dioxide in the air. Plants produce oxygen when they make food. We need oxygen to breathe. So, we need the plants. Sunlight is a kind of energy. It helps water and carbon dioxide turn into sugars. The plant uses the sugar as food. This is called photosynthesis. Wow. Do you know that humans also need the sun and water? Yes, we do. Flowers. The plant has grown tall. A bud grows at the top of it. The bud looks like a bunch of green leaves. The plant moves so that the bud always faces the sun. Some sunflower plants have many buds, others have just one. Wow, the world's largest flower is called rafflesia. It can be 3 feet. Can you believe that? Soon the bud opens and there are yellow petals inside. They spread out from the center, and the center is made of many tiny flowers. They are called florets. Pollination. Each of the florets has a sweet liquid inside. It is called nectar. Bees like to drink nectar. And the florets also makes pollen. It looks like a yellow powder. A bee's body can get covered in pollen, like right here. Some flowers smell like rotting meat. This attracts flies, and the flies carry pollen. As the bee drinks pollen sticks to its body, then the bee flies off to another flower. It takes the pollen with it, and the pollen rolls off on the next flower. Remember that we learned that in the story time that we was reading about the bees, about how they carry the pollen? Look at this. I just love the way sunflower seeds look. Making seeds. A sunflower needs pollen to make seeds. Each floret has a male part. It has a female part too. The male part is called the stamen. It makes pollen. The florets are arranged in a swirling pattern. The female part is called an ovary. Pollen rubs off on a floret. It travels to the ovary and it lets the ovary start forming a seed. A seed can grow in each floret. You see, right over here is where all the florets start growing. And this is the life cycle. First thing first is that you plant the seed. A sunflower seed sprouts in the ground. And then the plant grows bigger and taller. A yellow flower grows on the plant. The bee brings pollens to the sunflower and makes seeds. And then the sunflower dies, its seeds fall to the ground, and you know what happened? Another plants grow. Wow, we learned so much about the sunflower. Remember that the story time theme for today is about seeds. Our next book is called Seeds. This is by Carmen Lemnis Cates. Seeds carry the power of life, so they embark on an amazing adventures. Some take off to distant lands. Are you seeing any of those flying around? Others wait to be carried to their destiny. Once they find their place, seeds go through breathtaking transformation. Seeds have the power to multiply in number. One pumpkin seed brings dozens of pumpkins. And each pumpkin brings hundreds of seeds. Seeds have the power to multiply in size. The tiny seeds in the world sprout a beautiful orchid. Seeds have the power to grow in difficult places. They can thrive despite all odds. When we sow a seed, we take part in this amazing cycle. And we can plant many different kinds of seeds. A smile is a powerful seed. One that can bring joy and friendship. But there are a lot of seeds that brings anger and misunderstanding. When those seeds grow, they pull us apart. See? Seeds can only bring what they carry. Pumpkin seeds bring pumpkins. Kindness seeds bring kindness. You have lots of seeds, and yet you get to decide which one to plant and which one to help grow. Seeds have whole worlds inside them, just like you. The end. Wow, this is a very meaningful book, okay? Because it shows us that just like the plant, we can become a seed and we can plant kindness and love, right? Friendship. So try to be a nice seed and plant kindness and love, all right? Our next book is called Plant Life Cycles. This is my science library by Julie Lundgren. I hope that you are learning a lot. Packet of life. Every living thing begins, can reproduce, and dies. In many plants, this life cycle begins with, do you know what? A seed. Yes, just like it is right here in the picture. Have you ever planted a seed? Yes? I hope you did. I plant a lot of them. A seed holds the beginnings of a plant's first roots, stem, and leaves. A tiny plant waits inside each seed. This is a being seed. A seed is ready to grow. Roots begin to grow. Roots grow bigger. Now a stem begins to grow. So these are the leaves, and this is the stem. And right here was the seed. Remember where this came out, this beautiful plant came out. Some plants begin from a bulb. Bulbs grow roots, stems, and leaves too. An onion plant begins from a bulb. So, have you ever go to the kitchen and see the onions that are been there for a while, the one that your mommy used to cook? Sometimes they grow little roots. And if you plant them, you'll be able to have an onion plant. Life unfolding. The tiny plant grows roots. Roots make a strong base. They take in water and nutrients from the soil. These are the roots, and that's how they grow. They grow down. The first shoot becomes a strong stem. The stem carries water and nutrients to the plant and holds up leaves. Leaves grow from the stem. This is the stem, and it becomes very strong because that's the one that's going to be holding the leaves. Leaves use sunlight, air, and water to make food for the plant. Leaves are food factories for plants. These are the leaves. Flowers. Some plants make flowers. Plants make seeds inside their flowers. Like this is the marigold seeds. You see how they look? Marigold flowers make marigold seeds. When they are ready, some seeds fall to the ground. Animals or the wind will carry other seeds to new places to grow. The wind blows dandelion seeds to a new place. Have you seen any of these seeds flying? I know during the summer, I see a lot of them. At the end of life cycle, plants die. Their bodies decay and new plants will grow in their place. Life cycle of an oak tree. First is the acorn sprouts. Then is the young tree grows. 3. The tree grows bigger. And 4, the tree makes flowers and acorn, and after many years, the tree dies. Now, do you know what animal eats acorn? Did you say squirrels? Good job. Yes, those are. I have so many in my backyard. They always messing up my garden, but I love the squirrels. Our last book is called Growing a Pumpkin. This is by Helen Lip Friesen. Now remember that this storytime thing is about seeds, okay? And I know today my voice is not the same. It's because I have allergies. Yes, that's why spring comes. Spring brings new life, beautiful flowers and plants and a lot of rain. But also it brings allergies. So Miss Anna has allergy now. So let's get started. When the seed is planted in healthy soil, the tiny plant bursts out of the seed's shell. The plant's roots grow down into the soil roots and it gathers water and food so the plant can grow. A pumpkin grows. Two tiny leaves on a stem push out of the soil. These first leaves are called seed leaves. Seed leaves are smooth and shiny, and they use sunshine and air to make food for the plant. When the big leaves grow, the seed leaves fall off. Pumpkin leaves are big, flat, and have pointing edges that are a little bit tricky. A pumpkin blooms. A pumpkin plant grows many leaves on its vine. The vine spreads out and crawls along the ground, and yellow flowers bloom. Have you seen these yellow flowers? Female flowers grow on small green nuts. Male flowers grow on long stems. A yellow powder called pollen is found inside the male flowers. Insects carry the pollen to the female flowers. Then the tiny knobs begin to grow into a pumpkin. Pumpkin ready to harvest. A pumpkin plant loses its flowers when the pumpkin starts to grow. And the big leaves shelters the pumpkin from the sun. They also keep the soil moist. Inside the pumpkins, new seeds form. Green pumpkins slowly turn orange as the summer comes to an end. When the vine turns brown, it is time to harvest the pumpkin. In 4 months, the tiny seed has become a pumpkin. And now this is the pumpkin's life cycle. First is the seed. Week 1, seed leaves emerge. Week 2, big leaves begin to grow. And then by the time it's week 10, flowers bloom. Week 11, there is pollination from the bees to the flower. In week 12, a little green pumpkin starts to grow. In week 16, pumpkin turns orange. And then week 17, they are ready to be harvested. Let's learn about a pumpkin's part. This is the stem. The stem is the top part of the pumpkin and that attaches to the pumpkin to the vine too. Leaves use energy from the sun to grow the plant and the pumpkin. And what about the skin? The skin is the outside orange layer of the pumpkin. It keeps insects and disease out. Ribs are the lines running from the top of the pumpkin. The cavity is the inside of the pumpkin. And remember, when you open it, you see the pulp. The pulp is what's inside the pumpkin. And that's the part you cook to make pumpkin pie. Seeds are inside. Many kernels in the cavity of the pumpkin used to grow new pumpkin. All of these seeds you can grow, you can use to make new pumpkins. And the cavity is the inside of the pumpkin. So many parts. I just love pumpkin. I love pumpkin pie too. So I hope that you enjoyed the storytime thing for today. It was about seeds. We read Growing a Pumpkin, plant life cycles, seeds, sunflower, and grow little seed. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I see you next time. Goodbye.